Hi Flosstube friends, it's Sherry, Colorado cross stitcher, and Oliver. I thought I'd bring him in. He hasn't been in a Flosstube in a few Flosstubes. And I know some of you who are cat lovers like to see Ollie. Plus, I have Ollie and Friends freebie that I'm going to remind you about today. This is my channel about cross stitching, and both my personal cross stitching and just some news from our ColoradoCrossStitcher.com shop at the very end. So, Oliver is 6 years old. He was a rescue, and he's just such a love. We have two cats, Lexi and Ollie, and he's our big 16-pound boy. Not overweight, because his feet are huge. He doesn't like me messing with them. We've been packing Advent boxes at our house for the last, well, really for the last 3 weeks, because we had to package up all this stuff, and he is just discombobulated. If there's anything ever out of place, he does not like it. Like I put the, oh, you want to go? Okay. I'll let him go. So he says goodbye. Say goodbye. I put the clock from the kitchen over here so I can kind of pay attention to how long I'm floss tubing. Hang on. There you go. And he didn't like that because the clock was out of place. So anyway, here's a little, now I did this last year, so I'm just going to show it to you right now. This little Ollie and Friend freebie. It's on our website, ColoradoCrossStitcher.com. If you do the drop-down menu under patterns, over on the left-hand side, there's a section for free patterns. And I'm telling you that because today I have another new pattern for you for Thanksgiving. I have a lot of stitching to show you. I've gotten a lot of stitching done. We have a giveaway. I have some thoughts about stitching motifs, different sizes, that I want to share with you. And then we're also going to talk about color copying. So that's what we're doing today. Let's jump right in. First, I'll show you my calendar for the month. And this was October. It's pretty darn full. And I think I've shared before that I go in and put in stickers. I usually put them in the, just in the 4 square here, so that I still have all 4 boxes visible to do writing in. Every time I hold that cat, I get cat hair on my nose. All right, so that's October. I've already started in on November, of course, and I keep track of my starts over here with my fabrics and any changes, and that's what I love about doing these calendars. And the new one is out. We have sold out twice. We have more in order. We'll have them in on Wednesday. All right, let's jump into stitching. So, like I said, I worked on a bunch. I'm going to show you the Halloween things that I finished first because it's past Halloween. And the first one is from this book. Now, you all have, or hundreds of you I know, have the Ultimate Sampler Motif book, which is just an invaluable resource for all of us. This, I think, is an invaluable Halloween resource for all of us. Teresa Kogut, I mean, first of all, she's such a talented designer, but this book, I mean, even just the first page, the cover photo, you've got witches, you've got pumpkin people, you've got cats, you've got the word Halloween, you've got this house and this cool cat on the bottom. So even if you didn't want to do that whole Halloween sampler, which is adorable anyway, you can do parts and pieces, and that's what I did on this one. But you have a lot of other patterns in here, and I've showed it to you before. But I just want to talk about a little bit about, well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but pulling parts and pieces out of your patterns to do. So I did this little pillow, and that's from the very bottom, and I'll hold it a little better in a minute, but you can see I did the bottom row, left off the house, and I'll tell you the little changes I made, but let me show you up close. Here's a picture. Okay, I still haven't figured out how to hold these up well so you can see them. So on this one, I changed the color of the pumpkin. Let's see, the pumpkin man under the tree. The pumpkin man was most of the stuff in the tree was all black. Let me see if I can get both of these in view. And since I wasn't doing the whole sampler, I decided to add a little more color. And then I also made pumpkins along the fence post because I wasn't sure what, when I was looking at the pattern, I wasn't sure what the fence post had on top of it. When I pulled the color copy back out, I thought, oh, that's witches' brooms. That's really cute. But since I didn't have witches on my little pillow, I just made them into pumpkins. So I can see, I really want to do the dancing cats as a drum probably next year. I love the witches and all their different color costumes, and I love the pumpkin head. So I have a lot of different pieces that I want to pull out of this sampler for just different pin pillows. So what did I do this on? Let me pull out my calendar because I don't remember what I did it on. I did it on 36 count something, I think. That's helpful, right? Okay, nope, 40 count mushroom. 40 count mushroom. Okay, I gotta leave this open because I gotta tell you the other ones. So that was a really fun little pillow to do. And I always stuff my pillows with crushed walnut shells, which is also known as lizard litter, which you can get at Walmart, you can get at Amazon. I just think it makes a nice full feeling pillow. All right, the next one I did, and I forgot to get my pattern for this to show you, but it's by the Humble Stitcher and it's Happy Halloween. And I started doing this, I was thinking I was gonna do it big because I did this on 36 count tumbleweed from Forbidden Fiber, and I cut the fabric the wrong size. So I thought, well, I'll just do 1/1. So I made a really tiny little Happy Halloween, and it was super fun to make. I probably could have gotten away with doing the 10 stitch. The 10 stitch, remember, is just half of a cross, but I did full stitches. And I've loved this one ever since it came into the shop. She has such cute patterns for all of the holidays, and now I want to do some Christmas ones. So it was fun to stitch over 1 on 36 count, and I just used regular DMC, so it's good coverage. It's pretty thick, but I like good coverage. So those are my 2 Halloween ones that I worked on since the last time we talked. And let's see what's next. Let's do this one. So I think I told you I wanted to, let me take it out. I wanted to do the Tomato Tavern, and I wasn't sure how much I wanted to do of it, but it's funny because I said I just envisioned this being on some kind of a post or some kind of a stand, because I was envisioning putting it behind some of my other tomato pillows. And it turns out I just did the tomato. I didn't do the tavern part, but I may add that later. But the funny thing is, I went antiquing right after I did that Flosstube, and I walked in the very first booth, I saw the perfect thing that I had just imagined for this. And so that was kind of good timing. So this is what I did. Now that is a heck of a big tomato. It is a lot of stitching going on in there. And I did this one on, well, I told you, 36 count tumbleweed from Forbidden Fiber. That's Tomato Tavern. Merry Halloween I did on 36 count on something else, and I didn't write that down, and I should have. All right, anyway, Tomato Tavern is on 36 count tumbleweed by Forbidden Fiber. Now, this is what the back of this looks like. I don't know what it was, but it's got a very heavy, solid base, which I wanted because I knew this was going to be a heavy piece. And the back side of this is just flat, so that made gluing it on a lot easier. And so I kind of thought, well, I could do the Tomato Tavern part, not the whole thing, maybe just Tomato Tavern. Put in that kind of a scrolly little stitched framed thing, and then have it kind of swinging underneath here. I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but I love the big tomato. It was super fun to stitch. I just outlined it, and then I could just put the pattern away and just fill in, and I love doing fill in because I do the sewing method, and it seems to go quickly, and it's kind of a no-brainer, so that was fun to work on. And I was glad that I found that at the antique store, which was perfect for it. All right, then the next thing I worked on was the Birds of a Feather. This, let's see, Birds of a Feather Happy Hearts sampler. This pattern is out of print. I would love for the owners, Hoffman House, I think owns the Birds of a Feather. I would love for them to reprint this because I know a lot of you want to get it. Hang on. Okay, had a little drink of water. Sorry about that. So anyway, Happy Heart sampler. And I did get a finish on that one. Super fun to stitch. There were a few changes I made. Let's see. The little heart, work my way over here. This heart was, let me see, I don't even remember what I did. Oh, it had words in it, and so I just did a fill-in. All right, the little heart says CMD, so it had initials. The other heart had a big M in it. And so I took both of those and I just made them solid. And then under the flower, that heart had 1832. And I put the word joy in it since it's a Happy Hearts sampler. And then I made the initials for our family members different colors, which was an idea from my friend Daleen from So Grateful, Flosstube. And I of course put our initials in the hearts, my initials up at the top between the two birds. I love the heart and hands over in the corner like that. And then it calls for onyx, and my onyx was a little more green than I wanted it to be. And one of the things I love about this is just the black checkered at the bottom on the numbers, and just kind of just the way the black pops in this. And my onyx was not popping, so I pulled out 310 DMC and did some black, but I still used the onyx for some of the things. Like I used the onyx for the busy hands line. I used the onyx for, I think, the alphabet, but I made the crows and the bottom and this guy, I put the black in there. So that's the only change I made to that. What did I stitch this on? Why don't I write these things down so I don't have to annoy you by having to look everything up? Okay, Happy Heart sampler was done on oatmeal, color and cotton, 40 count. Oatmeal, color and cotton, 40 count. All right, Happy Heart sampler. And then I had another finish. This was on 40 count mushroom. And this one is, I love this pattern from the very first minute I saw it. This is the Day by Plum Street Sampler. And I know that I've shown you the progress as I've worked along on it. That little pink house, I'm not even really a pink person, but that is the happiest little house I've ever seen. And that was super fun to work on. And then just the pop of the sun up there at the top. I love the teal door. The only change I made to this is the word glad down at the bottom. I decided to use that pretty blue because I loved the blue from the door. So I was able to finish that one this month too. I had so much fun working on it. I love the oversized big flowers. Again, I love the pink house with the teal door. I love the verse at the bottom. There's a little bit of over one on this one. The little legs of the crow are over one and his beak. And I don't think you would have to do them over one. It just makes them look a little more dainty. So this was super fun. I cannot wait to get it framed. And I want to keep it at my house, but I should take it to the shop. So that's always my dilemma. I don't know. All right. And then the last thing I stitched this month was the freebie I have for you, and I wanted to do a thankful freebie because I am so grateful for all of you that you want to come over and watch my Flosstube, and I love that because I love talking to you guys in the comments. Thankful for just your support of the shop and everything, so I did a little turkey thankful for you. So this is a free pattern up on the website. I do quilt blocks in a lot of my patterns because I am a quilter. I haven't done quilting in a while because I'm so busy stitching. But I just love the warmth that it adds to a pattern. And so this was a quick stitch. It's all done in DMC. Here are the DMC colors. I mean, I'm not going to list them, but you can see the colors in here. They're kind of really fun Thanksgiving. And then I used our baker's twine. We've added baker's twine to the shop, so I used that around the edge. And a couple of you have asked me about that because it's so thin. And what I love about it is it covers up the seam. I used Alien's tacky glue. It dries clear. You can't even see that it was glued on. I mean, not even with your best magnified glasses because it dries clear. So I just like that it covers up the seam where I sew the bottom part. It covers up all along the edge, and I think it gives a little bit of frame to whatever you're adding it to. So I love it. And then here's another tip I have, because I had to finish some Christmas pillows that I did for something, and I couldn't find the right color baker's twine for it, and that's all I wanted. I didn't, you know, I use chenille on a lot of things because I love the look of the fuzzy, you know, thicker chenille, but sometimes I just want a little narrow border on something, and I couldn't find the right color. It was red, it was reds and greens, but it's like a richer red and green, not the brighter. So what I did was I took a whole bunch of the red and white baker's twine, and I brewed a strong cup of coffee, and I dunked it in the coffee and let it sit overnight. And by morning, I did rinse it out, and then I laid it out to dry, and I rinsed it out just carefully. I didn't want to soak it. I didn't want to soak all the coffee out. But it stained it just enough that it was perfect for the finishes that I wanted. So keep that in mind if you have any kind of, whether it's chenille or baker's twine or any kind of trim that you want to add. If it's just not quite the right color, if it's a little bit bright, remember you can dunk it in a strong bath of coffee. I think coffee is probably a better stainer than tea would be, but it turned out great. All right, so that is my stitching. Now what are we going to talk about next? Let's talk about antique finds, because I showed you my pedestal for my tomato tavern, and I found a couple of other things that are going to be fun to do some finishes on. So first of all, I found this enamel box, which I saw a couple of trips ago and I ignored, and I couldn't ignore it anymore, because then I started thinking, okay, it has this cute red lid. Clearly it needs some kind of tomato something something on the top of that. So that was fun. And then I also found, sorry, I know those of you who wear your earbuds, that was loud. I also found that little turkey behind me that is a, it comes flat, and then you put it together like this and it stands up, so that was fun. And it looks hand painted. It looks like somebody individually painted all of those little feathers on it. And then the other thing I found was this fun little cabinet, and it's missing a drawer, and I'm happy it's missing a drawer because I have big plans for this in using it as a display, and I will show you that maybe next time if I can get that done. So I'm always looking for little cabinets like this, or like that one back there. All right, so those are my antique finds. Let's talk about my 3 things this time. All right. Nope. First, before we talk 3 things, let's talk about stitching things different sizes and different sized motifs, because every fall when I do Flosstubes, I have more people ask me what this pattern is and want to know information about this that was just finished into a flat fold. This is a pattern that I think a lot of you probably have, and it's cinnamon stars. All right. So it's cinnamon stars, and it's just the scarecrow, in the bottom corner, stitched on a bigger fabric. And I talked about this in one of my earliest floss tubes about how you can take parts and pieces of patterns. But I wanted to talk about it again because you don't have to buy specific fabrics. This was a kit that I got at a retreat that I went to make this. But you don't have to buy specific fabrics and specific flosses to do that. So I did up a little sample to kind of show you. I took 32 count fabric and I stitched 1 over 1, I stitched 2 over 2, I stitched 4 over 4, and I stitched 6 over 6. Now what does that mean? 1 over 1 means 1 thread of DMC or floss. In this case I used DMC. 1 thread of DMC over 1 thread on the linen, okay? So, and then 2 over 2 means 2 strands of floss over 2 strands of linen. So when you're stitching on linen and you're doing 2 over 2, you count up 2 linen pieces, threads, and you count over 2 linen threads. And that's how you make your X, up 2, over 2, and then cross it. So I did this just kind of as an example of using the same fabric and the same floss and different strands and different overages, I guess, that's how you say it, that's how I'll say it. So this first one on the end, this was a full cross heart on the top and a 10 stitch on the bottom. When you do 36 count or 32 count like this, I probably would do a full cross. The bottom one is just a little light for me, but I know some of you like light, so don't worry about it if you like that kind of a look. But definitely for 36 count and 40, it's easy to do a 10 stitch. And then you can see how the size of the heart changes. This is the same pattern heart, same pattern, same size. It just comes out different sizes based on how many threads I went over. So I went over 2 over 2 was the next one, which is typically what I think most people work on when they do 32 count. And then I did 4 strands of DMC over 4 threads for the next one. And then I did all 6 strands of the DMC over 6 threads for the last one. Now, how would you use something like this? Well, I just want to encourage you to look at your patterns and see the different motifs you might pull out to do a quick little stitch. Like this looks really, really elementary and rustic, but how fun would that be to stitch a heart like that, or a Christmas tree in the holidays, just make a little tag to put on a gift for a friend. And when it's this big, it just doesn't take long at all to stitch it. So it's a fun way to add something homemade to something you're giving without having to spend a lot of time making smalls. Or, like in this case, using a lot of the different patterns you already have, using some of the fabric you already have, and just go over more threads to make it bigger and to give it a different look. So like if we look at some of the patterns I shared today, what could we pull out? Well, on this one, it would be fun to pull out that stack of goats and the crow over on the end, and you could even do the sun on top, and that would make a fun bookmark. You could make that bigger. Of course, you could pull out the pot of flowers and make that bigger. Let's see, what are the other ones I shared with you today? Okay, now I'm not going to be able to find all of my patterns. You'd think I like threw them when I was done talking to you. They should all be right here. Here they are. All right, so like on birds of a feather, it would be fun to do those hearts and hands bigger, or even the 2 crows and the heart in the middle. That would be a fun one to do. Or the big flower along the bottom. That would be a fun one to pull out. Or this guy holding the heart. That would be a cute tag done bigger on bigger fabrics. So again, I just wanted to encourage you to look at your patterns in a different way and not just look at them as, well, I would never do that whole piece because that's a little bit much, but are there parts of it that you love that you really could make good use out of? You know, and even those flowers, like you could do just a single daisy. That would make an adorable tag for something. So you could put them on tags, you could put them on boxes. You know, Hobby Lobby and Joann's are full of boxes, either paper mache boxes or wooden boxes. that you could stitch one of these big and put that on, just like this enamel lid that I'm going to put something on. I can take any one of the multiple tomato patterns I have and just pull out a tomato and do it big and rustic and have that kind of fun, big stitching kind of a look. So I'm going to put a picture of this in my newsletter next week. So if you're on my mailing list and want to see this closer, that'll be a closer up for you. But I just kind of wanted to show you how you can use the materials you already have. You don't have to buy special fabrics, and really have some fun with some of the patterns you've done. All right. This is a mess here. All right, let's talk about 3 things now. So my 3 things this month were, first of all, I found this cute tin. It's all cats. Got cats on the side. Okay, that's another reason I had Ollie at the beginning of the show, because I was talking about cats a couple times. This is from World Market, and I think it's just for the holidays. They have a dog tin that's equally cute. So if you like keeping your sewing things in a tin, which I do, this is a fun one to put things in if you're a cat lover or a dog lover. It comes filled with cookies. The cookies aren't that great, but the tin is adorable. So that is number 1, World Market. I'm sure you can find it online as well if you're not close to a World Market. The second thing I want to talk to you about today is Michelle from Under the Woolen Willow. She just does the funnest things. I know funnest is not a word, but she just does really fun things. So follow her on Instagram, because and I will link to her below, but she posts what she's going to be having up in her Etsy site a few hours ahead. Usually I miss out on it because I'm not paying, I just don't get it in time, but a couple times I've gotten things in time. So most recently I got this really cute scissor holder. She used some of the Blackbird fabrics to cover this spool. There's a hole in the top so you can put your scissors in, and it came with these scissors, which are a nice size scissor. And then she just does the little things, like a little button with a heart on it pinned on the side. So cute. And then I brought some of the other things. She made that, let's see, can you see that little willow tree, that little felted tree behind me? That's another Under the Woolen Willow thing that I got. And then I know that I've showed you her pillows before, but this is my word of the year, and so I got a word of the year pillow that she sent me. So wonderful. And then I joined her, I think it's a quarterly Stitcher's Word or something, Skinny Pillow Club, and so this is one of those. This is another one that I got from that. I love that. Every time I get a ship notice from her, because you pay for it at the beginning of the year, and then you get a ship notice and you know you're going to get a little gift in the mail. And then this is another one, You Are My Sunshine. Isn't that cute? She also has a book that I have shared on previous floss tubes, and you can get that on her Etsy site. Again, I'll link to both her Etsy site and her Instagram account below so that you can pop over there and check out some of the fun things. But she just comes up with all kinds of creative things. I'm always impressed with what she's working on and what she's doing. All right, my third thing is, when I was at summer school at the attic this summer, I saw 2 ladies who had train cases. And I'm going to show you what a train case is in case you don't know, because I bought myself one. And they had them decked out. I took a picture, but I didn't think to ask if I could share it, so I can't share it with you. But Chocolates for Breakfast just did one too. So if you go to Instagram and look up Chocolates for Breakfast, she just did one as well. These were the coolest train cases. So they had fabric, color copies of fabric, which was a new concept to me, that they shellacked, what's that word, Mod-Podged on the outside, and then they redid the inside of the train case, and they open it up and it's got all of their sewing accoutrements, all of the things they needed to bring to a stitching retreat. And I wish I could show you a picture of these because they're just incredible. I'm glad I have the picture to reference as I make mine, but I came home and I immediately looked up train cases on eBay and bought myself one because I just thought the idea of doing that was so fun. Now, will I ever use it? I have no idea. It just sounded fun to make. So this is the train case that I bought. And when you're buying a train case, you want to make sure to see the inside pictures too, to make sure that it is, you're going to be covering up the inside, but you still want to make sure that it's not all torn apart so that you can actually do some covering up. So this is the, it still smells a little musty in here. I'm going to have to soak it in, not soak it literally, but put dryer sheets in there and get that musty smell out. But this is what the inside looks like, and I probably will keep these and just, maybe not. I think I'll rip these out and replace them with fabric. On the top, I'm pretty sure that one of them had like a magnet board, and maybe one of them had like a puffy where you can put pins in, like stick pins and needles. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do on the top there, but it definitely will not be a mirror because we don't need a mirror. And then just put fun things. Now, one of the gals had collected so many antique looking just different sewing things. Like she had old bobbins, and she had an old I think it was a needle holder. It looked like a lady, like an elegant lady, and you think that was a needle holder. Anyway, you can find all kinds of fun sewing things on eBay or at garage sales or antique stores, and she had just really decked it out. So the whole thing gets covered except for the handle, although I'm sure you could figure out a way to cover the handle too. And I'm going to do mine, just get this out of the way. I want to do mine in red with white polka dots because of course I do. You know, I love that. So this is the fabric. I also think you can Mod Podge fabric on, but I'm not sure. Maybe the paper works better. So I will take it to Staples. I just made a quick color copy on my copier here at home just to show you. So you're going to do a lot of sheets of this so that you can then match up the circles and all of that stuff when you Mod Podge it on. And I know this came out a little lighter. I don't know, maybe the Staples one will come out a little darker, but I do know when you put the Mod Podge on, it darkens it up a little bit too. So then you just cut it to size, cut it into pieces to fit on your train case, and go to town. And then on the inside, I wanted to put smaller dots and this aqua blue. So this color copy, blues and reds are hard to color copy. So this came out a little bluer than I really wanted. I wanted more of an aqua color, but we'll get that figured out. So that's going to be a fun project, and I wanted to tell you about it because I wanted to commit to it on camera that I'm going to do this. Maybe before the next one, I don't know. But I am looking forward to working on it. I'm sure there's a learning curve involved, and I know, somehow I'll do it. Somehow I'll figure it out. Then, because I was color copying and I was getting ready to do my Flosstube video, I thought, well, you could just color copy some of your stitching, right? So I color copied a piece of This Joyous Day. This is the day. This is the day. I always call this Joyous Day, but it's This Is the Day. Because I have a box from Hobby Lobby that I thought this would look so cute on the top. Now, I think because of, yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that not widge-wodgy either, too. I probably need to cut off, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out and I'll show you when I get it done. Because of copyright laws, you can't take pictures of your stitching and put them on things and sell them. I think that is covered under copyright law. But I figure I'm taking a picture of my stitching to make a box for myself, and I think that's okay to do. So I'm looking forward to having this beautiful little piece on here. And then I thought, well, wonder if I could color copy it and frame a color copy and keep that at home and take the real one to the shop. I don't know. Most of you don't have two places you need to have your stitching like I do, but that is a possibility. I'll see how that goes. The other thing is, I could probably take a picture. A picture would probably turn out better. A picture of my stitching, frame that picture, and then someday, you know, get the real thing back from the shop and be able to hang that. So, but it just kind of opens up some doors, doesn't it? When you're thinking about your stitching, and if you stitch something you really love and you find a box or an antique or a what have you that you really love, that you think you could kind of combine different parts of those, and so think about what you can do with that. And I will be back maybe next time, maybe not next time, but I will be back sometime in a future Flosstube to show you the results of the train case experiment and the box experiment. How's that? All right, let's move on to drawings. So we had a drawing last time, and we have this beautiful project bag from the Crafty Bobbin. Thank you so much for donating that for our giveaway. And she also donated one for sampler. Was it sampler camp, or did I already give it away for summer camp? Anyway, she donated it for a prize for camp. And so you had to use the word floss in your comment, which was easy because I asked you what your favorite floss color was for the question of the day. And I originally thought, you know, I'm going to keep track of these and kind of tell everybody, yeah, the overwhelming color, favorite color is red or blue. And then I got into it and I'm like, they were all over the map. So no, I didn't keep track of them, but I enjoyed reading your favorite floss colors. So the winner of this project bag is Heartland Stitcher. And I think she said her favorite floss was Cherry Cobbler. So if you will get a hold of me, my email is in the drop-down box, and I will be happy to ship this out to you. Just one comment about the drop-down box. When you're watching, if you're not sure where to find all of that information, because I link to a lot of things in my drop-down box that I've talked about. If you're looking at the screen right now, watching me, in the bottom right, your bottom right-hand corner, right underneath the picture, there's a down V, like a V that points down. If you click on that, it expands that box, and then if you click on the word more, it expands to all the notes from the show. So if you're wondering if you need a link to one thing or another that I've talked about, like I'll link to Under the Woolen Willow, I'll link to the Crafty Bobbin, I'll link to Joyful Stitching Store, Deb's store, because she's given us another giveaway for next time. So all of that information is in the drop-down box. So hopefully you can find that or know where to find that. But Heartland Stitcher, you're the winner of this one. And then we have a really pretty, fun Thanksgiving bag for the next giveaway. And again, this is from Joyful Stitching Store. It's all one word on Etsy, and I will link to that. And it comes with the project bag and the little accessory bag. And then she always includes a couple of skeins of floss. So this is for your scissors, your extra needles, you know, all of the little things that you need, your tape measure or whatever. And let's use the word thankful. So use the word thankful in your comments if you'd like to be entered to win this beautiful bag from the Joyful Stitching Store. And we'll do that drawing next time. All right, question of the day. Last time, of course, like I said, was your favorite floss color. Question of the day for the next time. Since we're coming up on Thanksgiving here in the States, what is your favorite side dish for Thanksgiving? I was trying to think, did I ask that another time in my Flosstube? But I don't care, because I always love reading about your favorite food dishes. So what is your favorite side dish for Thanksgiving? Mine is my mom's mashed potatoes, which never turn out the way that she makes them. She makes them the best. They have like cream cheese and sour cream and I don't know what all, but they are a family favorite for all of us. So what is your favorite side dish for Thanksgiving? And if you're out of the country and you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, just tell us what one of your favorite side dishes is when you're having a really special meal. All right, so that is that for that, and now we're going to go into just a few things from the shop that we have in, and a Thanksgiving piece that you might want to stitch. And that is Thankful Quaker, and I made this, I guess, I don't know, did I make it last year or 2 years ago? I can't remember. And I just finished it on a board from Hobby Lobby. I think it was Hobby Lobby. And it probably said something else on the front of it. I'm always looking for those seasonal boards at Hobby Lobby. I don't know if Joann's and Michael's have them as well, but they're like they're an easel, and they say grateful, thankful, blessed, or pumpkin spice, or fall is here, or whatever. But they come in different holiday colors, which makes them really fun for finishing. Now this one was a neutral one, obviously, but I've used greens, reds, oranges. You know, they're really fun. So watch for that when you're in that store, and pick some of those up if you like to finish. And the nice thing about this is it stores flat. So I just cut, I did not cut it. My husband cuts the foam core, the foam board for me, or the mat board. And then I stretch it on here, and on this one I just added a little bit of twine around the sides. But this one is Thankful Quaker by Bent Creek. Take it out of here so you can see it better. And it comes with the buttons, little buttons to add to it. So Thankful Quaker. And I'm always trying to keep this in stock because it sells great for us, but it's not always available. So I'm happy it's available right now. But you can see where I put the 3 little buttons in there. And it tells you, of course, where to put the buttons. So it was really a quick one to stitch, but I don't have a lot of Thanksgiving only things. I have a lot of fall things or a lot of autumn things, and the autumn things I'm happy to keep up through the end of November, but it's fun to have a few that are just specifically for Thanksgiving. I don't decorate for Christmas until after Thanksgiving, so I do like having Thanksgiving things up. So I just started another Thanksgiving piece last night, so I'll show you that next time. And then we added a couple of new designers into, well, 3 new designers into the website, and I'm not going to take all of these out, but one of them is Jeanette Douglas, and she's got some really beautiful designs out. She has some really fun Christmas ones out that I just had to reorder because we already sold out of them, so they'll be in next week. But she's got some beauties, and this is vintage flowers too. And I had the other ones to show you, but they sold, so I had to take them back to the store. And then another person that we've added in is Country Rustic Primitives. Now, I have stitched a couple of her patterns in the past and just love her work. They are primitive. And so here's Happy Heart Pillow Tuck. Primitive and simple, which I love. This one is Blackjack Cupboard Tuck. She calls some of them cupboard tucks, which I think are fun. She's got some really cute Halloween ones, even though Halloween is past. The Pumpkin Man Pillow Tuck. Lead Me in Your Path Pillow Tuck. So this is Christmas. I did not bring all of them because we got a lot, but I brought just a few to kind of give you an idea of her style. Emily Stein Thanksgiving Sampler, which I think would be fun to do. Again, just wanting to get some Thanksgiving pieces for myself. Edith's Christmas Schoolgirl Sampler. Give Thanks Pillow Tuck. I love this one for the holidays. Got to do that one. And Gobble Pillow Tuck. So super fun. I'm happy to have her as one of the designers that we carry, and I know you'll love her stuff too. And then now I can never know how to pronounce this. Well, Simone is the designer, but it's under Atelier Soie. I don't know that I pronounced that correctly. Here, look on the back. That's how it's listed on our website. And they just have, I think, 3 things out right now. One is the GH sampler, but then she's got these 2 books. And isn't this one fun? I cannot wait to do some of those little pillows. And if you're not into reds and blues, which I am, but if you're not, of course you can do them in any colors. Those would all be beautiful in Christmas colors. It would be beautiful in fall colors as just kind of extra additions to your fall dough bowls or decorative shelves that you do. It's got the cutest little, love how she finished that one into a little pillow, or it has a little hanger on the top. I wonder if that's an ornament. Cute little sampler finish. She's got a needle roll, a biscornu, a drum. I love this house. Look at that house pillow on the front. Love that. So again, you get a lot of designs in this book, and don't limit yourself to the blues and the reds, because that house would immediately look Christmassy if you changed that to red and green. And it would look fall if you did like a pumpkin and a chocolate. So that's one of them. The other one is, I showed you this because I got my copy of this at the attic at summer school, and several of you asked if I would find it and carry it. And I'm just gonna flip, because what this is all different kinds of borders. And you can make a band sampler out of it. You can pick a motif from the Ultimate Sampler Motif book, do a motif, and then pick a border to go around. I don't want to show you all these, but I want to flip through so you can see. Okay, that's not so easy. So you can see there's just pages and pages of borders. And she must like red and blue like me, because she did them all in the reds and blues. But again, you can make these in any colors and make beautiful, like I said, band samplers or bookmarks, if you want to do bookmarks for people for the holidays, or little tags or what have you. There's just a multitude of things in here. You know, there are just some books or some patterns that I think are a good reference for you to have. And one of them is that Ultimate Sampler Motif book. I told you that Halloween book by Teresa Kogut is just a plethora of motifs that are fun for Halloween. And then this is one that I would say is one of those must-haves for borders, because you will reference this a lot if you like to kind of pull some of your own things together. So, all right. I think that's everything I had for you today. It's been fun to see you again. I know it was 4 weeks this time. We were kind of inundated with working on the Advent stuff, but that's going out the door next week, and so hopefully I'll be back in, I don't know, is Thanksgiving in 3 weeks? I don't think I probably will do one. Well, who knows? I may do one Thanksgiving weekend. We'll see. I'll either be back in 3 or 4 weeks again, and then one more time probably before the end of the year. But I so appreciate you joining me today. I hope you subscribe and click the little thumbs up button if you're interested in that, and click the bell if you want notification when I put a video up. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you the next time. Bye-bye.